This is where the conversation starts. All sports talk on WGNS and Big G TV, covering the Preps, MTSU, news from Tennessee and nationwide. Now, here's All Sports Talk on the Good Neighbor Network.
Welcome in, All Sports Talk for Monday afternoon. Dick Palmer with you on this beautiful Murfreesboro afternoon after a little rough start this morning, but we're glad to see the sun out this afternoon. My guest is Coach David Farrar. He is former head basketball coach at Middle Tennessee, as most of you know, and other places along the line. And
are you trying to say I'm old, Dick?
I'm not trying to say that at all.
Okay, you'd be right.
Coach is retired from basketball now, but still actively keeps up with it, I'm sure. And what are your we live in the same neighborhood, so we cross paths every now and then. Well, you walking the dog usually.
You're my landlord. That's Palmer Estates, and I'm quite fortunate to live in that little area. It's one of the best kept secrets in Murfreesboro. Older homes, big lots, nice area.
You came to Murfreesboro in the early 1990s, and you haven't left, except for a brief time. But you came back. What brought you back here?
Well, a number of things. First of all, we did come in 91, and we've had a house here, even if I worked out of town, which I did a number of times. We've had a house here all but 6 years since 1991, and moved back, obviously, the last time that I retired from coaching, University of Wyoming. And we love the community. We feel close to it in a number of ways. You know, you've lived here forever and ever, since your days in Memphis and doing professional sports and things like that. But when you live in a community where your doctor, your banker, people you deal with are also your friends, yeah, you're pretty fortunate. And that's the kind of community you want to stay in. And then it doesn't hurt any that half of my grandkids live here in town, and my daughter, and also a great-granddaughter. So those are some of the reasons. I've been fortunate this year to come back and do some radio for MTSU and be around basketball there a whole lot more. And it really recharged my batteries for the school and the university, academics, athletics. It really opened my eyes to a lot of things that they're doing and doing well, and had a good time doing that.
Kind of gets in your blood, doesn't it?
Well, it's pretty amazing, really. I mean, for instance, Nick, I've known Nick since he came and knew of him before he came. But it's different when you watch somebody develop a team. It's different when you see somebody on what you would interpret as good days and bad days. He's the kind of person that doesn't have bad days. I asked him one time, Dick, I said, when's the last time you had a bad day? And he looked at me and he kind of smiled. He said, I don't know. And it takes that to coach in this era and in this day, to be such a positive person that even on days where you lose in overtime on the road to a team you beat at home, et cetera, that you take that in stride and you still have a positive attitude about kids, about the game. Those things add up. So, yeah, I particularly enjoyed that, and I hope I get a chance to do it again.
Well, I caught some of the broadcast on radio with you and Chip, and I just thought you were made for that job.
Well, I appreciate you saying it. You know, you don't like compliments all that well, but you and Chip, as an example, two Hall of Fame people in the same town, 80-some years of service between you, and both geared towards being positive about people, positive about the university. We couldn't be any more fortunate to have that in our community, and I hope people don't take that for granted. As you mentioned, I had a chance to work. My mic is cutting in and out. I don't know if you're getting it or not, but I'm not hearing it all the time. But I'm fortunate to have worked with Chip this year and really enjoy his professionalism.
Chip and I both have degrees from this institution, and it is our school, so to speak, and you know, it's kind of a labor of love. You're coming in just fine.
Okay.
In my
All right.
ears,
Then I won't
by the
worry
way.
about it.
But no, I hope that continues into this coming season.
Well, I'm cheap. You know, that part of it works pretty good.
You're like my sidekick on baseball, Mr. Callum. Mr. Callum and I have been together for 20 years, and I don't know if he's ever asked for a dime from the university,
Well,
but he just loves to do it.
That's a good job.
Yeah, it is a good job.
It's a good place to work.
You know, I don't know what I had in mind. I did want to get your comments on the way things are going these days, but I kind of wanted to go back and maybe go back and go over the early days when you came in, and you came in a tough period for men's basketball here in Murfreesboro.
Yeah. I don't talk about it very much, Dick, in terms of some of it, but I don't mind talking to you about some of it as well. But here's an interesting thing. In 1969, Losha and I were on our way to take my first high school job in Florida. And it's always been my habit and our habit to stop at universities when we travel. We walk it, we look around, we think about it. Well, we stopped here and we visited Middle, and I can still see the entryway over there by the old administration building, and walking up through there and seeing the sign and saying to her, well, wouldn't this be something? Wouldn't this really be a great place to coach, a great place to live? 1969.
Wow.
And I'm guessing the population was under 12,000. I'm guessing
sure
it was around 7,500. And when you stop and think about the fact today that, you know, we've been as high as 25, 26, 27,000 students, it's quite a remarkable growth. And when I came here in 1991, there were things that were far from ideal, and there were things that I sure wish I'd have handled differently, but I'm also quite sure that people that were involved in administration at that point wishes that they had had a better grasp of what was going to take place, what had taken place, and what the future was going to be. But all in all, I had 5 years here. I met a lot of great kids. I met a lot of great people that continue to be friends of mine today. And we've been able to make a home of some place that we didn't even know about growing up.
When you came in, the program was under kind of a cloud. There was an NCAA investigation, no probation, I think, but things that today would be considered normal everyday business. But back then, things were different, and we had a coaching change. And how did you feel interviewing for the job, knowing what had transpired in the past?
Well, it was a different thing. One, I was with a team, an all-star team in Taiwan, playing in what they call the Jones Cup, which is the Asian Olympics. Basically, they have 8 Asian teams and 4 teams from other parts of the country or world. And I was with a junior college team there. And we won the Gold Cup, beating a Russian team and the South Koreans and a number of other teams. But that was in late August, early September, and the job came open. And your friend and mine, Randy Deere, who went to school here, got a doctorate here, and is a very prominent professor at Western Kentucky, got a hold of me in Taiwan and told me about the job. And I knew about it. I'd been at Western Kentucky as an assistant. I'd been at Mississippi State as an assistant. And unbeknownst to most people, I'd actually interviewed for the job once before.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I interviewed when they hired the current coach.
Coach Stewart?
Yes, I interviewed, what's the AD that was here when at the end when I was here?
It may have been, was it John Stanford?
No, John hired me, and the second one that was
Jimmy Earle?
No, the main guy during the football transition. I'm trying to think in between Boots and I can Lee Fowler.
Oh, Coach Fowley, yeah.
So Lee was the athletic director at that point, and I don't, at this stage, I don't think he had that much heritage in what had gone on before.
Right.
But he was also, the reason I brought it up, he was a candidate when I interviewed for the job as the basketball coach. He was an assistant coach at Memphis. Ended up, he didn't have a master's degree, which you needed because you taught in those days,
right.
Which would be hard-pressed to imagine that today, but that was something that went into the job in those days. You mentioned that we weren't on probation. We were, actually. We were on scholarship limitations and recruiting limitations and postseason limitations. One of the recruiting limitations lasted for 3.5 years. So there were some things that, that were difficult to overcome. But in other ways, I've known, and this is something that I have to believe in with my heart. You tell players all the time, you are where you are because of you, not because of me. You're either playing or not playing because of you. And I have to say that same thing about success in coaching. I had a chance, and it was up to me. And if I didn't get it done, then regardless of what the other circumstances were or other people's opinions that I either valued or disvalued, it was still up to me. And I'm the one that should have gotten that done. We had 5 years. We had a nice winning season at the beginning and a good winning season at the end. Probably the very best thing that happened in that 5 years is we left a team of 11 really talented mid-major players that were good students, that were graduating, that Andy Herzer is nice enough to say oftentimes he was an assistant with that team, that was a well-groomed, well-disciplined, well-intentioned, purposeful group of kids. And so I'm really proud of that group. And it took us a while to develop it and to get it. But those kids would... They could play today. That group could.
No doubt.
Could, Tesh and Nod Carter and those kind of guys. I truly believe Nod Carter could have been a starting point guard in the NBA, if just a little different thing. He had a great high school coach. He was in a great high school program, but had he have been at Oak Hill or something where he had to face that kind of talent like himself every day, I believe Nod Carter could have played at the next level and played well. He did play in Europe and did well.
Talk about inheriting players. You had a good group coming in when you started. You had, I think, at least 4 starting players coming back from the previous year that had a good record.
And they were good players, and they did a nice job. It took them a while to adjust to a lot of things, but they did a good job. They won 17 games, I think, and the schedule that we inherited. And keep in mind, I took the job in September, so
right.
You don't have 6 months. You don't recruit anybody that you like or likes you or anything else. But we played LSU on the road, played Cincinnati when they were good on the road. We played a lot of different kind of people. And, it is what it is.
Wasn't Shaquille on that team at LSU?
He was.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. That they would take him out, and it would go from 30 points to about 17 or 18 behind.
Put him
back in, it'd go back to 30. Kelvin Hammonds, I still remember this. Kelvin Hammonds is a sweet, sweet young man. And Kelvin kind of swelled up and over some physical thing, and Shaq walked over and patted him on the head and said, "Oh, little man, calm down." And he did. So that was I'll tell you one quick story about coaching in general. But we had a center.
Can we hold this?
Sure.
I need to take a break.
Okay.
We'll get that as soon as we come back. You're listening to All Sports Talk here on WGNS, and we'll be back right after this.
Whether you need general vehicle upkeep and maintenance or a complete vehicle overhaul, Hall's Auto Care is here for you. We're locally owned and operated by Greg Hall and have been in business since 2014. You'll get excellent service and trustworthy advice with Hall's Auto Care. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. We're ready to help get you safely on the road. Hall's Auto Care, 907 Ridgely Road, just off Broad Street behind Chili's. Online at hallsautocare.net. Hall's Auto Care.
First Shot transforms Rutherford County youth. Coach Andy Herzer leads dynamic basketball camps and clinics, building skills and character since 2003. Kids dive into exciting STEM projects, sparking creativity through hands-on coding, art, and dance. They elevate their mind, spirit, and body in summer and winter programs. Visit firstshottn.org today to learn more. First Shot, where kids gain, elevate, and develop.
Time to salute the Doug Young Educator of the Month, presented by WGNS and City Tile and Floor Covering. We're spotlighting Matthew and Mary Ellen Smith. They are both teachers at Riverdale High School in the theater department.
I decided to become an educator after watching my wife for 4 years and working with her, building her sets and doing those things. I really enjoyed working with the students.
I absolutely love it. I understand why God put me here because I think I was meant to be an educator. Something that I would like to accomplish, seeing one of my former students actually be on Broadway or in a big movie or a TV show, something so that these other kids can see that it is attainable.
I agree with Mary Ellen. That would be really, really awesome, because we would be willing to go travel pretty much anywhere to watch them in that performance.
Matthew and Mary Ellen Smith at Riverdale are the Doug Young Educator of the Month, proudly sponsored by City Tile and Floor Covering on Spring Street.
The residents at Stones River Manor love the activities and the environment.
They have everything. They have exercise class. The activity center has the Bible study that I like very much. Everyone is so friendly. They really want to make you happy here.
Stones River Manor, serving the community since 1977.
And you have the little thing around your neck that you can press a button if you need help right away. I feel very safe here.
Stones River Manor in Murfreesboro, near the intersection of Haynes Drive and Memorial Boulevard.
Holden Hardware has been serving the hardware needs of this community since 1948. This is Raleigh Holden Jr. I want to thank our many customers who have helped to keep us in business all these years. I also want to invite those who may be new to this community or have not been in the store lately to visit us. Come experience a unique hardware buying atmosphere with wood floors, old furniture and fixtures, along with a helpful and knowledgeable sales staff. Holden Hardware on the west side of the public square since 1948.
Good afternoon. We had a crash over here a few minutes ago on 440 westbound, just past West End. It was there long enough to snag that traffic that's already heavy in that area there coming past Hillsborough Pike. Again, 440 westbound near West End, that wreck being cleared. We had a stalled truck. They finally moved it. 65 north, clogging up traffic, trying to get up through Madison, working your way up past OHP. Hey, don't let a slipping transmission make things worse when your car or truck having transmission problems. Come to AMCO on Gallatin Pike. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
It's all sports talk from the Good Neighbor Network, FM 1019, 100.5, AM 1450, wgnsradio.com, and Big G TV.
Welcome back into All Sports Talk for this Monday. Coach David Farrar's my guest today, and I stopped you from getting into a story because I wanted you to finish it, and I knew we had a break coming up.
Old people love to tell stories, I think, and being old, I guess I do too. There's one that I tell when I'm in groups because I think it reflects what coaching is like and what actually goes on somewhat. We're playing a game, and there was a rather large man that sat behind me at middle. I never knew who he was, never asked, but I sensed that he didn't like me much. And you can tell people you don't hear the crowd when you play or when you coach.
You do,
but you do. And so, at any rate, we're playing, and I'll preface this by saying that our half-court trap offense involved our center coming from behind, coming to the middle of the court, catching a ball and throwing it out the backside. We always called that after our center. And so Warren Kidd, who recently went in the Hall of Fame, was our center and played 39 minutes and every game, and led the country in rebounding at one time, ended up second to Bo Outlaw. But anyway, Warren was taking his obligatory 1 minute break. And all of a sudden, the other team goes into a half-court trap. David Clark is in the game at center. And so I stand up and I go, Warren in the middle, Warren in the middle, which is what we called our half-court trap offense. And David Clark comes to the middle, catches the ball, throws it out the backside, and we lay it up, and boy, that is great. And all of a sudden I hear from behind me, you idiot, Warren's not even in the game. So that's my story about coaching and so forth. But, we talked, Dick, about coming on the show and about the state of college basketball. I'd much rather discuss what Nick is doing and high school basketball in our city than my past. But I'll be glad to answer other things that are on your thoughts.
No, I just you left middle and went to Idaho after.
I did, yeah.
After years as an assistant there, I think.
I went there as an assistant, and I was the head coach there for 5 years. Two of my assistants there are current head coaches, one at Mississippi State, Chris Jans, and one at Wake Forest in Steve Forbes, and they're both much better coaches than I am, much better with people than I am, which they would readily agree with, I might add. And I enjoy keeping track of them, as I do all the guys that worked with me or for me. I'm fortunate I get to see Lonnie Thompson more than most of them. Lonnie has stayed in our community, and after coaching at 5 or 6 places, he's retired for the most part, and I get to see him a lot. We've ended up going to the SEC tournament together a couple times, so that's.
So you took a couple of assistants jobs after Idaho, and you mentioned coming here from Wyoming, and coached high school basketball for a few years.
I retired. I did not want to move away. And I had a really nice job at Jacksonville State, who is it's a very unique school and doing very well in Conference USA.
Yes, they are.
And I was in administration there and enjoyed it. It was a good job and it was good money and all that. But I didn't want to move there. And so we were commuting. She was commuting. I was commuting. And I just had had enough and I quit. My first coaching job after that was my 3rd grade granddaughter, who shows up and says, Poppy, you're coaching my 3rd grade team. I said, no, honey, I'm not. I'm not going to do that. Well, the power of a 3rd grader is, yes, I did. And I had a ball, and we still see those kids today. They're all just graduating from college. That gives you some idea how long ago it was. But after that, my grandson, they went to PCA, Providence Christian Academy. My daughter teaches or is the lower school principal there. And they came and said, would you coach this group? And no, I'm not going to do that. And but I loved hanging out with my grandson. And he was a soccer player that was willing to play some basketball. And I just decided to do it. I had a really good time with it. When we had good players, which we did the very first 2 years, we beat everybody. And when we didn't have quite as good of players, we didn't beat much of anybody.
Funny how it works out that way.
It does tend to be that way.
Well, and after you left, they won a state championship.
PCA is an anomaly in this sense. They've won both men and women's, boys and girls state championships this past year. They've only been in the TSSAA for about 10 years, if that long.
Yeah.
And so it's phenomenal. And it's all about people, both the kids that they recruit to be on the team, to come from the student body and be there, to the coaches themselves. Both coaches, Kerry Hammonds, who played at middle, coached at middle, is the head basketball coach. Tara James, the athletic director and head women's basketball coach. They're both like Nick McDevitt. They both care more about the kids than they do about winning. And it's funny how that works, because their passion and compassion really serves itself well. And so kids are magnets to them. They like being around them. They play for them, play with them. And to win 2 championships in a row back to back is a phenomenal thing for such a young school.
It really is, and they've made their mark, in, like you say, in just the last, 7 or 8 years.
Well, both Carrie and Tara both get offered jobs every year. And I'm not on the inside of much, Dick, but I'm a little bit on the inside of that sometimes. And every year, they decide that being at PCA is where they want to be. And I think that speaks well of the school itself, and speaks well of them, that they continue to want to build a great product in a great school in a great environment and have that kind of success.
You mentioned a couple of your former assistants. Do you keep up with your former players and former assistants and talk from time to time?
Yeah. I tell them all when I'm coaching them, when we're done, I'll be as close a friend to you as you want me to be, but that'll be up to you. And some take you up on that, some don't.
Right.
There are a couple from middle who work a whole lot harder than others. Mainly Kent Ayer and Brent Sechrist, Tesh, and some of the others. But it's unusual to end up having a great friend relationship, I think, because for so long you were mentor, the coach, the teacher. But when it does happen, it's pretty special.
Yeah, and it's a little unusual because both guys you mentioned, both Kent and Brent Sechrist, were not star players here. They were not starting players. They played off your bench and subsequently later on.
It's funny. With Brent, I said something, and he said, "Well, I didn't play much as a senior." I said, "Really?" I said, "What happened?" He said, "Tesh." I said, "Oh yeah, I do remember that now that you mention it." Both are remarkable kids. It's fun to see them. Middle has done a good job of trying to get those guys to come back, and I was able to visit with some of them this fall, so they're good.
Yep. Well, could you coach today in today's atmosphere?
Dick, you and I both know the answer to that is probably not. Here's my thinking. The game is either the best it's ever been, or it's got some very serious problems, and it's possible that both those things are true. But it takes a very special person to coach. I mentioned Dick a little while ago. I doubt seriously that the community understands how good he is. I doubt seriously they understand the problems that he has in coaching at a mid-major school, the monies that are available to him versus the monies at Liberty and a few other schools in his league. But he does a remarkable job. And he does the remarkable job because of his attitude about players, his attitude about the game. One thing about Nick, as we talk about whether or not I could coach in this era, he has a bit of an eidetic memory ability. He doesn't have a photographic memory. I'm not saying that, but it is eidetic in the sense that when he sees something in basketball, he visualizes it and he remembers it forever. He can tell you what happened at 13 minutes and 15 seconds in the game and visualize it and talk about it. And I see him teach, and that's one of the things that I'd encourage people, if they're raising young kids and they're interested in sports at all, Middle's right here in town, and you get a chance every year to watch a guy take 9 new players every year, which is unheard of, and mold them into something that can compete as a one
as a unit.
Yeah. And he does it. He does it every year. Last year's team, 17 wins, was a point or two away from really taking hold and maybe getting into the conference finals. But getting back to your question, it's his attitude and culture are such that anybody that's going to coach and have success today has to have. There's a culture. Let's use Publix as an example.
Okay.
You may not shop as much as I do, but I do all the grocery shopping.
Oh, I do it. I do that
Well,
same.
you go into Publix, there's a different culture. They greet you at the door. You ask them where something's at. They walk you to the aisle. Everything's clean. Everything's personable. Everything's accountable. I could go on and on and on. It's a culture. It's a teaching thing. Well, middle basketball right now is trying to have that kind of culture. Their kids get good training. They get training on even how to take care of their money in the future. When what's the young man Torrey that left that went to Torrey Alston?
Yeah.
When he got ready to leave and make substantial amounts of money, Nick sat down with him and said, "Hey, you got a chance here. You got a chance to make life-altering money. You need to take it." And instead of saying, "Stay here for less, stay here for this, you owe us," none of that. It was, you've worked hard. You were good to us. We were good to you. It's time for you to move on. That takes a special kind of person to do that.
Yeah, and I don't know if I could do that or not because, when you coached and recruited, you were recruiting for 4 years.
Yeah.
5 sometimes, but when you got a guy, you can tell you could say to yourself, "Well, I've got this kid for 4 years."
I can, yeah. The baseball coach at Jacksonville State retired shortly after the money became a part of the deal, the NIL money. And I thought he said it best. He said, "I'm retiring for the simple reason that I'm not going to recruit kids twice. When I coached here, we were successful because as a freshman, they didn't particularly like me, but they liked the program. As sophomores, they started to understand what we were doing. By the time they were juniors, they were all on it. And as seniors, they were teaching the freshmen how to act and how to behave and how to do it." He said, "That's a program, and I have no desire to be a part of something that doesn't still instill those kind of things."
And that tradition, you just mentioned Jacksonville, that tradition has continued to this year. They were conference champions, top 25 in the country, and they haven't skipped a beat.
Well, their athletic director is a special human being, and there's another job that the person who got the job instead of me was the right person, because I also was involved in that job. And what he's done with facilities and enhancements and hiring coaches has been absolutely unbelievable. They're a school of 6,000. Now, they may say they're 10. They're not.
I made a comment on our last trip down there to whoever we were driving with. How can you recruit kids to Jacksonville, Alabama? Well, and they're so good in everything.
How about that baseball field, though?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like walking in a minor league.
Yeah.
And the athletic director is as involved in the facilities as he is if he was the baseball coach.
All right, we're going to have to take a break, and we will be back. My guest, Coach David Farrar, will wrap things up when we come back after this. From WGNS.
Hey folks, it's Chip Walters from Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates, helping Middle Tennessee make smart moves in a fast-moving market. Whether you're buying, selling, or just exploring your options, you deserve someone who knows this community and treats your goals like their own. From first-timers to long-time homeowners, I'm here to guide you with clarity, confidence, and a steady hand. When you're ready to make the next move, start with someone you trust. Visit choosechip.net. And let's make your 2026 move the right move.
In Rutherford County, you know how much it means to have neighbors you can count on. I'm State Farm Agent Andy Wommel, here to help life go right when you combine home and auto insurance. Call me today at 615-890-0850 and let me save you money and time. Your home, your auto, together they're where life happens. I'm State Farm Agent Andy Wommel. It's smart to protect them together to help life go right. Give me a call at 615-890-0850 and let me help you save by combining your home and auto.
Jennings & Ayers Funeral Home has served Murfreesboro families with compassion and care since 1880. As a family-owned funeral home, we're committed to honoring every life with dignity through traditional services, cremation options, and pre-planning that gives you peace of mind. For over 140 years, we've been here when it matters most. Visit JenningsandAyers.com. Jennings & Ayers Funeral Home, honoring life and comforting families since 1880.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Auctions are easy, fast, and profitable.
You have a staff that comes to your home. They walk you through it. It's been my experience. What I thought I should get for my home, I got much more for it.
Call Parks Auction and Realty or visit parksauction.com.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Parks Auction Company, committed to auction excellence.
Sold it to you, 27.5.
WGNS.
Our family at Demas's Restaurant are proud to support local emergency responders who put their lives on the line for our community each and every day. This is Peter Demas, and here is this week's Demas's Emergency Responder of the Week.
Laverne Police Chief Christopher Mays is Demas Emergency Responder. Chief Mays was appointed to lead the Laverne Police Department in January 2023. When he stepped into the role, the department had been navigating a difficult period, marked by officer turnover, leadership instability, and public concern. Under Chief Mays' leadership, the department regained community support and strengthened its reputation for professionalism and service.
When you see a firefighter, police officer, paramedic, or telecommunicator going the extra mile, let WGNS know, and we at Demas's Restaurant will salute them as the Emergency Responder of the Week.
Next on All Sports Talk, it's the Blue Raider Insider Report with Chip Walters of Exit Realty, Bob Lamb & Associates.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Middle Tennessee's track and field teams completed their time at the NCAA East First Round Regionals Saturday night at Shively Track and Field Stadium at the University of Kentucky. Privileged Shakara was the lone Middle Tennessee student-athlete racing on the final day of the competition, having advanced to the quarterfinals of the 800 meters on Thursday. Shakara ran a 2-minute, 3.59 second time in the event, just 14 hundredths of a second off her collegiate best mark of 2:03.44. Though she was 2 seconds from advancing to the outdoor championships, her senior season came to a close in 18th place in the quarterfinal competition. Well, speaking of track and field and another student athlete who continues to move on, men's competition wrapped up on day 3 with Mustafa Bakpin punching 2 tickets to the NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships up in Oregon. In his first event of the day, Bakpin ran a time of 9.99 seconds in the 100 meter to finish second in his heat and the quarterfinals overall. His second quickest time of the season also marked the second time that the sophomore has broken 10 seconds in the sprint event. Just over an hour later, he returned to the track for the 200-meter competition. In the quickest heat of the day, Bakpin kicked it in gear for the final 50 meters, running a 20.28 time. He was the fastest of the qualifiers, who finished outside the top 3 of their heats, crossing the line just 4 hundredths of a second after the third-place athlete in Heat 3. So he will now move on to Eugene, Oregon for that event. So congratulations to Mustafa Bakpin, who will be representing Middle Tennessee in the NCAA Outdoor Championships. All right, Blue Raider basketball has completed its roster, signing 9 new student athletes to its roster. The incoming class features players with a wide range of experience from the Power 4 level to a couple of very good high school players. With 4 student athletes who call Tennessee home, 2 from international destinations, the group is set to join the 5 returners ready to get to work in summer sessions. We'll give you the names and where they're from very quickly. We'll talk to Coach Nick McDevitt and go into more detail. Eli Rice is a 6'8" guard from Gallatin who is transferring from Penn State. Quintero Barnett, a 6'4" guard from Division II Walsh University. Kevin Kovacic, a 6'4" guard from Montreal, Canada, and a transfer from North Alabama, played high school at Hamilton Heights near Chattanooga. Ofri Neve, 6'7" forward from Israel, transferring in from Oral Roberts. Caleb Seiler, 6'10" center from Gaston College in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Also, Aiden Bolden, 6'5" forward from Bolivar, Tennessee, Cavalry Christian, and Landon Collier, 6'8" guard from Tampa, Florida, went to IMG Academy. Garrison White, a 6-foot guard from Chattanooga McCauley, and Braylon Davis, a 6'3" guard from University School of Nashville. Again, we'll talk to Coach Nick McDevitt with more detail on those young men. Finally, note Chris Childers, nationally recognized voice in college football and a proud alum of Middle Tennessee, has been named the new public address announcer for Blue Raider football games this year. Childers, widely known to Sirius XM listeners on his show Full Ride with Rick Neuheisel, brings a dynamic presence, deep knowledge of the game, and a strong connection to Floyd Stadium. He'll be there starting this fall. That's it for today, folks. Talk to you tomorrow right here on the Big G, WGNS.
It's all sports talk from the Good Neighbor Network, FM 1019, 100.5, AM 1450, WGNSradio.com, and Big G TV.
Welcome back into All Sports Talk for this Monday afternoon. My guest, Coach David Farrar. Boy, Chip had a lot of information today on his show, didn't he?
Well, he's always has the inside scoop on everything, and I have to call him to get updates. I did get a call from Nick here recently that shared all of those recruits. I think it's quite a class. The young man that was a PCA, Bolden, he's got a chance.
Now, do you know much about any of those kids that he's got coming in yet, or?
I only know what I've been told and what I read. I don't know any of them personally. But there again, for a guy like me who likes to watch people teach and enjoys that part of it, on June 9th, he starts developing that team. There is no break. They go all summer long.
Right.
And that will be the time where you get a chance to see them grow and see them bond and what kind of players they're going to be in a system.
Of course, I've been closer to the women's program over the last few years, but and they get underway tomorrow.
Yeah.
They start their summer program tomorrow, so it never ends, does it?
Well, it's a long process, and it's not like any other job that there is. I mentioned the Mississippi State guy. One of his guys recently retired early, and he just said, the job is different. He said, you guys have a different gear. You guys go 12, 15 hours a day. I'm not geared that way. And it was an honest statement, but it was a good statement.
Did you ever talk with Kermit after he left Ole Miss?
We talk all the time. Kermit, Kermit was Coach of the Year in 4 different leagues. You think about that. He's an amazing teacher, an amazing coach. He had tremendous success. Thing at Ole Miss is an anomaly as far as I'm concerned, but he's one that has a demanding demeanor who could still coach in this environment. And it's not necessarily an easy thing, as we've mentioned.
So, what's going to happen in college athletics? Everybody says we want rules.
Well,
tell us the rules.
Well, it's simple. Congress is so good at solving anything. They want involved in this like they don't have enough on their plate.
Right.
And if you think it's screwed up now, you put them involved and we'll really have a mess. I don't have a solid answer, except that I know that NIL in and of itself is not a horrible thing, but paying a young man $5, $6, $7 million a year to play college basketball is not a good thing, and it's not sustainable. So there has to be, by people smarter than me, a contractual arrangement where revenue sharing, all of those kind of things come into play, and it can be done. It just has to be a very sensible, practical, legal approach. And I think there are people out there that are sharp enough to put it together and get it done. It's a little bit, though, like extending the number of teams in the tournament, for instance.
Right.
It's all generated by money. And I saw Nick on TV talk about that, and I liked his ideas about why expansion is good. But in my way of looking at it, it's only good if more mid-major schools get into the tournament. If it means that somebody else from the ACC that's in 8th and 9th place with a record that's, 18 and 17 gets in, I'm not in favor of it. So there's a lot of little things involved. The NIL money is not sustainable, and it puts schools like Middle at a huge disadvantage. I don't think anybody in our town would have any idea of what Liberty is spending on players.
I don't think so, and they charter just about everywhere they go. In basketball, I know
it makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah,
I mean, you get home the night of the game, you get home at 11:30, or you get home the next afternoon and miss a whole day of school. It's an entirely different deal.
Yeah.
And fatigue-wise and everything else, it's crazy. But Liberty is the poster child right now for Conference USA, in my estimation, in terms of money they invest in the program and money they have from outside sources. I think, and I'm going to get in trouble here, but I'll talk about facilities for a second. And I know that you've been involved in upgrading our facility and involved in funding and things, but our facility right now is tired. And there are a number of facilities throughout the league that are much easier to recruit to than ours. And I know that the money's there. I know we're going to get started, but we're years behind. Western Kentucky, if you haven't been over there, they did theirs in 2003. They did everything that we need in ours, but it was done 23 years ago. So that's a heck of an advantage to try to overcome.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned that you're talking particularly basketball, I think.
Sure, yeah.
And I think all that's coming to fruition, but like you say, it may be a little late.
Well, it's unfair to the people who are here now in all sports, who are coaching here now, that once everything gets set, maybe you bring in new people. That's not right.
Yeah.
Let's give our people all the opportunities they can to be successful. They're diehards. They came here for a reason. They're part of the program. They're our people. So let's give them all the tools that it takes to be successful.
The reason for the fall off in attendance, for not just here, but college basketball in general, eliminating a few of the Dukes and places like that. I think I don't know the reason for that. Some people blame it on television, too much coverage of things. And
it will never be like it was when Western Kentucky was coming to the Murphy Center.
No.
It'll never be like that, 1987, 85, somewhere in there, where you could have a crowd of 10,000. TV is part of the reason. There's an ad out right now, and you're a big baseball guy, but there's an ad out on ESPN, and he says that you buy this package, and you can access 4,000 games a day.
Yeah.
4,000.
How can you watch that many games?
Well, I mean, what are they? What are the games? I mean, and pickleball is a great sport, but I don't want to watch 27 different tournaments of it. But I'm being facetious, but TV has changed. When you can stay at home in the comfort of your home and watch vividly, and for that matter, listen on radio vividly, than coming out in weather, other things.
You know, and I'm guilty of doing that.
Yeah.
You know, I've done that before. Even when our team is playing here, and it's an inconvenience
Sure,
to
we
go
all do.
out.
We all do.
Flick a switch, and you're right there.
I mean, I've become a big Braves fan. I have Braves vision, so
Hey,
every night
we got something in common
yeah,
there.
every night at 6:15, you know, I'm glued. It's crazy. But having said that, it does limit. I'm not near as inclined to drive 4.5 hours and go to a game and spend $300 to take one of the grandkids.
Nor
to
am
the game. And I want to go. And I do, but
I usually go down once a year.
Yep.
And that's about it.
I just read some things on the minor league players, and I would go to Rome right now today and watch a game there before I'd go to the Truist.
You know, the AAA team just finished a 6-game series in Nashville last night, and they lost 5 of the 6.
Well, they've got a center fielder. His first name's Eric. All of a sudden, I can't think of his last name. Harden, I think. But he'll be in the lineup at some point.
Yeah.
And he's at Rome right now. But he's having a spectacular minor league season.
Well, when I came into the studio this afternoon, you had your head in a book, and I've seen you on road trips. I've seen you in the locker room before a game, calmly sitting there reading a book. So you're a big reader, but you tell me you've gone to the Kindle.
Well, there's an app called Libby, and a friend of mine got me started on it, and it's a library app, and so you get it free. And if you read as much as I do, free is not bad.
No.
And with old eyes, as much as I was not in favor of reading online, it allowed me to read better, have a black background with white print and expand the print. So it several things to it. But you are right. I've always read, and reading before a game is something I didn't do it manipulatively, but I did also realize that if the players saw me reading, they realized that it was important.
Yeah, and kind of calm things down a little bit, maybe.
Well, hopefully.
So we've got time for one good story, and I don't know what it would be. You were in the OVC for the entire time that you coached here.
Yes.
You got any good OVC stories that you can spin on us in about a minute?
None that I can tell. My good friend Dave Luce at Austin P, we had several stories that were cute. He coached there for 34 years, which is an amazing thing in this day and age.
I think I know one of them.